Sure. All right, I'm rolling.
Today's Jam's Best Old School. It's 101.3 The Big DM. Welcome inside the show again, Shamara and friends. And we're super honored to be here at the White House, representing, of course, our lovely state of South Carolina for Communities in Action Day. And it's all about, again, friend, investing in America. I just had the most memorable sitting in a press briefing, I guess that's what you want to call it, time, because you guys know I don't do politics. We got to welcome a new friend to the show. We're going to welcome Mayor Mitch Landrieu, again, the former mayor of New Orleans. Did I say that right?
100%. That's beautiful.
New Orleans. Real quick, because I know we got to talk about how we're going to, get internet to everybody and do the infrastructure and things like that. Do you know I always wanted to go to say it again? New Orleans.
You don't have to work hard at it, just go home.
No. Yeah. See, that's the problem. I try to work too hard at things. I was obsessed with vampires, and I wanted to go to New Orleans just to bump into the originals.
Well, but to be clear, we have vampires.
Oh my God, did somebody suck my blood? Okay, take that out. Anyway, no, listen, we are here. We're talking about infrastructure. Let's get back on task here. And for former mayor of New Orleans again, Mayor Mitch Landrieu is with us. And when I said, he struck a nerve, when I was like, wait, free internet, go to internet.gov. Get these messaging out to folks. Everybody should have access to the internet. I grew up in a single parent household. My grandmother raised us. 3-bedroom house. I don't know how many, imagine how many kids can fit in one house or people, And we had one computer when we weren't able to have the internet. And it took a very long time just to get that.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of help from that whole It Takes a Village. So I'm so happy to be here getting this information and to find out where this money is going.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm happy to be your friend. I love that. Secondly, welcome to the White House. It's beautiful. Isn't it really nice? And thirdly, South Carolina's in the house, in the White House, all over the place. Running around, running everything, looking at doors, trying to, get in the Oval Office and everything. But it's great to be here. And as you know, you'll be addressed by a whole bunch of cabinet secretaries today because South Carolina is really critical. And the president has seen, when he ran for office, he said, I'm going to see everybody and I'm going to lift everybody up. So it doesn't matter whether you're living in the city or whether you're living in the rural areas, whether you're living in the Black Belt or the Delta, you're living in Columbus or you're living outside. The president said, look, they got problems that people need help with. One of them is making sure, this is real simple, this is not hard. Access to knowledge is the great equalizer. Period. If you don't have access to knowledge, you just can't play, right? And during COVID, everybody figured that out. So lots of folks who had internet assumed everybody else had it, but the people didn't, got left out. And this is really kind of the message of the country, isn't it? So the president knows that access to knowledge is a great equalizer, and he and the vice president want to level the playing field. And one of the ways they want to do that is to make sure that everybody has access to high-speed internet. You talk about growing up in a home. I have 8 brothers and sisters. So 8 brothers and sisters, my mom and my daddy, my grandma, my grandpa, and a couple dogs. That's what was living in our house. And of course, if you were living in that space and you didn't have access to the internet, you couldn't do anything that you wanted to do. You couldn't, as the president likes to say, little girls ought not have to be sitting in the back of their mama's car in the parking lot of McDonald's trying to do her homework. Or if you have an elder and your mama gets sick, you ought not have to have access to telemedicine. Or if you work in the fields and you're working in a farm and you're trying to do precision agriculture, or you're trying to grow a small business from where you are, you're out of luck. So this president said, look, everybody in the country is going to have high-speed internet. We're going to put it anywhere. And we're going to do that in South Carolina.
And that's what, again, the pandemic taught all of us. Friend, if you're just tuning in, we're chatting with former mayor of New Orleans, Mayor Mitch Landrieu. And of course, we're in the White House, South Carolina. Communities in Action Day right here, and it's all about investing back into, of course, this country, America. Real quick, because I know we got to wrap things up, because you're long-winded and I'm long-winded too, so it's not about to happen as we ain't about to talk all day. You know what? I might be here, this might be a great opportunity. You're funny. So listen, the pandemic taught us one thing. If you can't play, like you said, you can't even get in the game.
That's exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Education, folks in the school system, our kids, they're being left behind.
Right.
If we're all so concerned about the kids being our future, then why are these kids being left behind without access to something that should just be given to us in this free world?
And the same thing is true about HBCUs. I was in Orangeburg, went to Claflin University.
Check you out.
I sure was. I was there with Congressman Clyburn. We were talking about the impact that HBCUs and kids that go to HBCUs can have on the future.
Yes.
The climate, but we're also talking about high-speed internet as well. The other thing we're talking about is kids having access to safe spaces. We're also talking about kids not having to drink water with lead in them.
Dude.
Right? So we're going to replace all the lead pipes in the country because they got too many kids that are sucking them out of it, causes brain damage.
Can I ask a
for our
question
kids, boy.
Because we really got to wrap this up, because we ain't going to sit here and talk all day, because I'm hot. You ever heard of hot?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do we pay so much for water anyway?
Well, that is a good point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're in D.C. Mind you, this is going to sound so cheap of me, but I was like, water, I'm not paying for $5 for that water in this hotel. Like, I wonder what's the pH balance of the water here in D.C. But I didn't care at that moment. I was thirsty, so I grabbed the cup and drank some water. Why do we pay for water?
But the point is that the water that you drink should be safe.
Yes.
Everybody is entitled to suck clean air and to drink safe water, period, end of story. And this president understands that, and let me say this to you, I know a lot of people in America may not understand this, but not everybody has indoor plumbing in America.
No.
If you live in Lowndes County, right, and you live in some of the counties that are out of the way, whose sewer systems and water systems are not working, you got a problem. The bigger point is this president sees everybody and knows everybody. And you know without South Carolina, the president wouldn't be here anyway.
Yes.
And so besides that special place that he has in his heart, whether it's South Carolina or whether it's Arizona or whether it's Utah, whether you voted for him or did not vote for him, this man said, get this money down to the ground so that regular people, our people, can be helped. And make sure that we lift people up rather than push them down, bring them together rather than divide them, and make sure that we get this country where we need to be. Quit hating on everybody so much, and let's figure out how to get to common ground so that we can build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, which means giving people the assets they need to build generational wealth that people cannot take from them, what they deserve. That's what this president is about, and that's what he's going to deliver.
You know, I'm glad that we're getting that messaging, and it sounds like it's going to be put into action.
It
because
is.
The way I think, I'm more like, oh, that's half full. Yeah, or half empty, that's how I think, right?
Well, it could be. People, let me say this. There's never been, in my lifetime, I've been doing this for 30 years. I was a legislator for 16. I was a lieutenant governor for 6 and a mayor for 8. There has never been a better opportunity for the people of South Carolina to grab this and to build a foundation so that their kids will be better than they are. This is the best chance we've ever got. Now, if we're foolish enough not to take advantage of it, or we let some folks on the hill take it all away, you know what? It's a time to kind of stand up because this country is having an existential crisis right now about whether we're going way back. But we're not going back. Nobody that I know wants to go back to where we were because it wasn't good for everybody. We want to go forward and give our kids the best opportunity. And that's what this infrastructure bill is about. So you fixing the roads and the bridges and the airports and the ports and the waterways. Make sure everybody has high-speed internet, clean air, safe water. And then, here we go. Get ready for a clean energy economy. Coming your way because that's what we need in order for us to survive. We've got to do all of those things. And this president's throwing down on it. That's what this bill is about, and that's why we're going to make it happen.
Well, you know what? Gosh, Mayor Mitch Landrieu said it. We're going to make it happen. High five, Fred.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen. I thought we weren't allowed to talk religion in the White House. Get out.